welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. It may have been 2 weeks without a Barcelona game, we may have had an international break, but things right here, they're pretty much the same. It's more disappointment, it's another poor performance, and there's real questions right now that have to be asked, not only of this team, not only there as a collective, but also about individuals too. We've lost to Atletico Madrid. Simeone gets his first win ever over Barca in La Liga. There's real problems. This is simply not good enough. Because if we first of all take a look at how the two teams lined up coming into this game from Atletico Madrid, as we spoke about there in the preview, I did think they put out a more attack-minded team than maybe would have usually seen from Simeone, even though they were sort of set up there in a back five with Carrasco operating on the left, Trippier on the right with Llorente, Correa and João Felix causing problems. For Barcelona, it was exactly as we expected there, with Pedri playing off to the left. It was Sergio Roberto instead of Serginho Dest at right back, with Messi, Griezmann and Dembele completing that forward line. And I thought by far and away, throughout that entire game, our most dangerous side, it was through Dembele. That was our biggest outlet there in terms of attacking performance, as we're going to come on to here in the first chance of the game. Because Barca, probably their best period of the game, it was in that opening 5-10 minutes. We did come out the blocks well, we actually had possession and good control of the ball. Dembele, like I say, was a real threat down that right-hand side. He was really pushing Carrasco to be working the other way in that left-back area. And it was a really good ball in there from the right-hand side, from Dembele, into the path of Antoine Griezmann, who, again, this is probably the biggest chance that he had of the game. This is his biggest impact that he had in those opening minutes. He's flying in there on the volley, and it just goes over the bar. It was a flash chance. It wasn't an easy one, but that could have been the lead, and maybe things could have been very, very different. That didn't go in, though, and Atletico was straight down the other end, putting the pressure on ourselves. Saul there was denied with a very good save by Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. It was a good shot from outside the box there from Saul on his left foot. A good save to Ter Stegen's right-hand side. And there was yet more warning signs with Atletico coming forward. They played some good passing football there in the final third. There was some really nice combination play just after the 10-minute mark. It was Correa, little slide ball there into Marcos Llorente. He sort of one-on-one there from a bit of a tight angle against Ter Stegen. He hammers it off the crossbar. And certainly Atletico, they were looking dangerous. When they did get into those areas, which they did, again, that back four of Jordi Alba, Longley, Piqué, Roberto, is that the way that Barcelona need to keep on going? For me, you've got to look to change that up. You can't keep making the same mistakes in terms of that back line. But I have to say that in general, in that first half, not a lot happened. It wasn't sort of chance after chance after chance. There was some good early exchanges there from both sides. But in that first half, it was pretty much the two teams cancelling each other out. But there was a chance there at the very end of the half for either side, which would really decide the game. Because first, 5 minutes from the end of that half, it was Messi who had a brilliant opportunity, because it was a great ball there from Jordi Alba in behind Atletico. He finds Messi in the most space that he would find himself in all game long. And I just felt for the first time in a long time, really, when it comes to Messi, that he had doubt in his mind. Because when he got that ball there, it was on his left foot, it was in a decent enough position. It's quite a tight angle, but you'd expect there a confident Messi to just smash that low and hard there across the goalkeeper and really put pressure on Oblak, but he didn't. He waited and waited and waited, and as he waited, of course, that angle there got narrower and narrower. Oblak there could guard his near post, and in the end, that chance came to absolutely nothing. And then, of course, Atletico made us pay, and their goal, oh, it was a disaster. Because, of course, all the headlines when it comes to this goal, it's going to be about Ter Stegen. And, of course, we are going to talk about that major mistake that he made in his part in this goal. But what you first have to do is actually look here at the first error. And that definitely came from Gerard Piqué. Because right here and now, looking at this, you can see that Barcelona are in the ascendancy. We are the ones attacking Atletico. And it's a really loose touch in such a bad area from Piqué. And it's just a lack of concentration. That's all it is. Piqué, we know, can easily easily control that ball. 9 times out of 10, he's going to do that just fine. But this was the one here where it gets away from him, Correa picks it up, and suddenly then, everybody's out of position. We're not ready to counteract there what Atletico are going to do. He puts it over the top, and Correa has got space to run into. Now, the second mistake, and of course the obvious one, it's Ter Stegen. Number one, he comes flying out of his goal. There's no real need there to do that. Of course you want to try and take the risk. Of course you want to try and stop the danger. And if he gets there, it's brilliant play. But if he doesn't, I feel like here, the risk outweighs the gain. I think certainly here he had much, much more to lose from coming out of his goal, steaming out in that way, when obviously Carrasco, he did have a lot of space to run into, but he still had to cover the whole length of the field. Instead, Ter Stegen comes out, he doesn't get the ball, Carrasco then, admittedly from a long way out, but he has an open goal. He did not miss. Atletico had that lead. And of course from that moment on, it was such a tight game, it was close between the two sides, but after that, we've gifted Atletico everything they needed. And obviously, in the second half, Koeman did try to change things around a little bit. Felipe Coutinho there coming on for Pedri, but I have to say Coutinho didn't make much more of an impact than Pedri did in the game. The biggest chance by way of Barcelona, though, undoubtedly, it was for Clement Lenglet. It was an absolutely brilliant, gilt-edged chance that he missed. And it was Messi there, actually, on the left-hand side. He cuts onto his right, and it's a brilliant ball. It is an absolutely perfect cross there into a great area. It's right on the head of Lenglet. He didn't even have to move. All he has to do there is guide that into the back of the net, but he puts it straight at Oblak. Straight there down the throat of Jan Oblak, and clearly it's an easy save to make and a big, big chance that Barcelona have missed. But of course as well, it's not just about the fact here that we didn't really threaten Atletico. It's not just about the fact here that we have dropped yet more points, but it's also what's happened here in tonight's game that could not only impact tonight, but many, many games to come. And I'm, of course, talking about the injury to Gerard Piqué, because right here and now, looking at the way that he went down, it was clearly there a collision whereby Correa falls into him. It's not intentional. Correa certainly doesn't mean to cause any harm to Piqué, but it's one of those things that can happen are coming together, and as you can see there, that doesn't look good. You never ever want to see a knee in that sort of direction, bent in that way, and not only that, but it's the reaction of Piqué. He's somebody there who, of course, in these kind of games, he can go through the pain barrier, he can soldier on, but he was clearly in a lot of discomfort after that problem, and clearly when he's walking off, he's nearly in tears, he's holding them back. And I think there, even though he did hobble off, and of course you would say there that at least he was able to walk off the field, but that doesn't actually tell you everything. Sometimes you can still do that with serious injuries, and it does not look good for Piqué. And at centre-back, we already know we have no other options. And unfortunately, guys, it doesn't even end there. And I think this is something that we're going to see not only in this game, not only after an international break, but right the way through the season. With the way the schedule is right now, not only at Barcelona, but for every other club, there's going to be plenty of injuries. There are going to be so many injuries. And that's a problem for us, given the fact we don't have a great deal of depth in our squad, because Sergi Roberto also picked up a problem there. It looked as though it could even be the equalising goal. Dembele set him up there. It's a shot on goal that was deflected and just went wide of the post. I thought for a moment that might have been going in, but as he did that, he pulls up. He's clearly pulled something there. He knew it immediately, and he couldn't actually play the final moments of the game. He also went off injured, which is another defensive problem for Ronald Koeman. And it's just everything right now on the list of problems for him. Because it's not just about the injuries, it's not just about the fact here we've lost tonight. But this is a game where I said before, the pressure was going to be on. You look at that league table right now. Sociedad haven't even played. They're 9 points ahead of us there on just one more game. Atletico, they played the same amount of games as us. And already, after just 8 matches, they're 9 points ahead. 9 points separate us and Atletico. That's shocking. That is absolutely dreadful there, that we've got 11 points from 8 games. That's not Barcelona. That is nowhere near good enough. And right now, this team and the coach, huge pressure and huge problems
that are just not going away.
And of course, guys, I really do want to know what your thoughts on the game tonight were. How exactly did you see that performance? How do you see the result? Do you think we should be giving this team any excuses? Should we be saying here that obviously look at Messi, he was coming off a very, very long flight there from South America. Does that explain why he was a bit quieter tonight at the Wanda Metropolitano? Should we be saying that, yeah, the schedule is really, really demanding for each of these players, but at the same time, there's players there for Atletico who've also been on international duty. There's players there as well who have been on long journeys, so I don't really think we can use those kind of excuses to bail out this display. We were toothless, we lacked edge, we lacked penetration there in the final third. And of course, it's a very, very quick turnaround from this game, heading straight into the Champions League in what's also going to be an important game, away in Kiev against Dinamo. What will happen? And these few days, they're going to be big. I'll keep you updated there on the very latest when it comes to PK and Roberto and any other problems we may have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I'm sorry that Barca had to return in this kind of way. I really, really am. Because it's just so disappointing every single time. But of course, guys, I will see you soon. There will be still more videos to come. And we will keep on pushing, no matter how long it takes. And no matter how hard it feels. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, if you can. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.